Harry held a grand birthday party for me. I thought he also wanted to celebrate our 6th wedding anniversary, by the way. But he said, let's get a divorce. Relatives and friends were all present. His proposal of divorce fully demonstrated his determination. I was caught off guard and completely didn't understand why. He said, I'm tired. The days of being controlled by you make me feel suffocated. I want to live a free life on my own. Can you set me free? The voices of people around, chattering away, seemed to be accusing me, saying that I had controlled my husband too strictly and that no man could stand it. I was really at a loss for words. I didn't even look at his phone, and I didn't even know his phone password. I looked at Harry blankly, but then I heard Harry's best friend say, sister-in-law, just do a good deed and set him free. You've controlled him too tightly. The woman he has outside is even pregnant, and she still doesn't have a proper status yet. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. I had no idea that my husband had someone else outside, and it was actually his best friend who told me in front of so many people. Harry flew into a rage out of embarrassment and stepped forward to punch Gary. Are you fucking crazy? What are you talking nonsense about? Whose friend are you anyway? Gary took the punch squarely. Harry, I'll let you punch me once. I've really endured you for a long time. Every time we go to the KTV, you bring that girl with you, and when you get home, you act like you and Elsa have a deep affection as a couple. Sister-in-law, you thought he was working hard with social engagements every night, but actually he was playing with us in the KTV. He came home in the middle of the night because he had to accompany that woman after work. He bought a house for that woman, and it's right opposite your community. My birthday party turned into a complete joke. In comparison, I wasn't even the most humiliated one. Harry was. He never expected that his best friend would stab him in the back. Everyone left one after another. They all had their own thoughts. Some felt sorry for me, some laughed at me, some cursed Harry as a scumbag, and some scolded Gary for being unethical. On the contrary, Gary responded frankly, how am I unethical? Was it ethical for Harry to announce the divorce in front of so many people? He wants a divorce but also throws the blame on his wife. People who don't know the truth might think his wife controlled him so strictly that he felt suffocated and wanted to run away. What? Do you all hope that when this kind of thing happens to you in the future, your husbands and their friends will team up to deceive you? He said these words very loudly to make sure everyone could hear. Everyone fell silent. Harry gritted his teeth in anger, clenched his fists, and wished he could rush out and fight Gary again. The room returned to a deathly silence. I asked Harry, how long has it been? I didn't know about it at all. Harry said, 2 years. She's still in school. Don't go and make things difficult for her. She comes from the countryside and has had a tough time. Elsa, you're different from her. You can be beautiful on your own no matter who you're with. But she can't. She has no family except me. Without me, she can't survive. I couldn't help but laugh. So I should be abandoned, betrayed, and cheated on by you. If it weren't for Gary, I would still be carrying the blame of controlling you too strictly and forcing you to want a divorce at my own birthday party. How can you be so disgusting? Sorry, she's pregnant, and I have to give her a sense of security. She's still in school. If I didn't force you like this, you wouldn't divorce me. I laughed softly, and as I laughed, tears welled up. What do you take me for? You want a divorce, and do you think I'll beg you not to leave? You could have told me that you have someone else and want a divorce. Do you think I'll cling to you? Harry didn't say anything more. He just said sorry and then turned and left. Today I just found out that Harry has another home outside, and it's in the community opposite ours. He bought a house for that woman. I locked myself in the room for 3 days. I didn't go to work during those 3 days. I saw that people in the colleague group were gossiping about my affairs. Elsa's husband actually cheated. He even has a woman outside. I saw pictures of her traveling with her husband in her WeChat moments. They're together every day. When did he have the time to cheat? You have a narrow view. I've even seen a husband go to a hotel on the way to pick up his child when he had some free time. They've been together since college. I heard they've been together for 8 years and got married as soon as they graduated from college. The house they're living in now was bought by Elsa. Her husband was penniless when he was with her, and Elsa paid for the living expenses at home. Now that life is better, the man has more wandering thoughts. Do you think she'll get a divorce? Is it too easy on that scumbag if she just gets a divorce? I closed the group chat and stopped looking at their gossip about me. I opened my WeChat moments and deleted every post about Harry one by one. Once I was the perfect woman who had a successful career, a loving husband. My husband was handsome, wealthy, and gentle and considerate to me. I was envied by others both in the company and in life. Even when I went back to my hometown, I was surrounded by a group of relatives who praised me, saying that I was so lucky. I had good academic performance, went to a good university, had a good career and a good husband. It would be even better if I had a child in a couple of years. They all said that I had a good eye, not despising a young man in poverty, and knowing how to invest in a potential stock, helping my husband step by step to his current position. He has his own company and has become the high and mighty Mr. Harry. He probably really forgot the hardships he endured and the poverty he experienced in those days. The embarrassment of wanting to give me a birthday gift when he didn't have a penny in his pocket. 3 days later, I received a call from Harry's lawyer, asking me to sign the divorce agreement. The property division part was to split it equally, except for the current house and the company. The house we live in was bought by me, so he wouldn't get a share of it. The $3 million of startup funds for his company were given by my parents. He would return the $3 million to me with interest, so I couldn't get a share of the company either. He thought this was fair. I won't sign. If he leaves the house with nothing, I'll sign immediately. MS. Elsa, you should know that the law doesn't support leaving the marriage with nothing. As a woman myself, I sympathize with you and understand you. Now Mr. Harry feels guilty and is willing to give you half. When his guilt subsides and he comes to his senses, you may not be able to get this much. And if you get divorced earlier, you can start a new life. Why waste time here? I smiled softly. He started a new life even before getting divorced. If he can do it, why can't I? If he leaves the house with nothing, I'll get a divorce. The lawyer stood up with a sneer. MS. Elsa, you're just stalling for time now. Your request won't be supported in court either. If you insist on this, then we'll see each other in court. I went back to work in the company. My leader already knew about my situation and he offered me a 1-month leave of absence on his own initiative. But I didn't need it. I have to hold on to either my marriage or my work. Since my marriage is gone, then I'll work hard. I went to work and got off work as usual every day, and it was impossible to tell that I had experienced humiliation and embarrassment in my marriage. My colleagues all thought that I would definitely choose to swallow my pride and coexist peacefully with the mistress, because this kind of thing was so common, especially since my husband was so wealthy now. If I got a divorce, wouldn't it be too easy on that adulterous couple? There were also seniors in the company who summed up the ways to get along in marriage for me. Elsa, as long as you're a smart person, you should learn to show weakness to your husband, especially since your husband is rich and wealthy. There are so many women eyeing him. You should appropriately bow your head, turn a blind eye to some things, and then your whole life will pass like this. The reason why he's so obsessed with that woman outside is that she knows how to show weakness and be submissive. You don't always focus all your attention on your career. You should also have a child with Mr. Harry. The child you have with your husband is the legitimate child, while the one outside is a bastard. I found it hard to understand their view of marriage. When they find out that their husbands have cheated, they are even eager to have a child with them to secure their position as the main wife. Even my parents advised me like this, saying that Harry is different from before. He's no longer that poor young man. He's the CEO of a company now, and the company is facing financing and is preparing to go public. If I get a divorce from him now, wouldn't I be benefiting others for nothing? It's so strange. Why are they all persuading me? It's not a matter of whether I want to get a divorce or not. It's that Harry insists on getting a divorce to give that woman outside a proper status. Then my father said, "So, you should show some weakness. You two have been together for so many years. You accompanied him through all the hardships. If you show weakness, he will definitely soften his heart. Men at this position want to be admired. They want to protect the weak." When I went home for a meal, all I heard were these words. If he wants to protect the weak, he should do charity work. There are so many weak people who want to be protected. I was just about to leave. Harry came. Mom and Dad. Seeing me, Harry was taken aback for a moment. Elsa is here too. What a coincidence. We didn't know Elsa was coming back for a meal today. Then you two talk. Have a good chat. Elsa has a lot to say to you. My parents quickly went out. Harry sat on the sofa and adjusted his clothes, saying, "The court session is coming up soon. There's nothing much for us to talk about. You sign the divorce agreement as soon as possible so that we can get divorced earlier. It's good for both of us. I know you don't want to divorce me, but I've already fallen in love with someone else. There's no turning back. Elsa, after all these years of relationship, let's part on good terms. I said, you're thinking too much. I came back today without knowing that my parents also called you here. Harry, back then my father gave you $3 million from the demolition compensation of our family for your business startup. Without this money, you wouldn't be where you are today. You just want me to divorce you by returning $3 million. Stop dreaming. Harry was almost furious. Elsa, how could you become so realistic and materialistic? Yes, the $3 million was given to me by my father-in-law, but I also have the ability to build up the company. If you invested this $3 million in someone else, you might not even see a ripple. Now I'm returning it to you with interest, and you're still not satisfied. You want me to leave the marriage with nothing. You've read too many novels. Is that possible? You're just wasting your time and youth by dragging out the divorce now. I don't love you anymore. Is it meaningful for you to insist on being with me? Looking at Harry's excited appearance as he scolded me, I remembered the day when he received the $3 million. He happily hugged me and promised me, Elsa, you believe me. Once I build up the company, I will definitely pay you back 100 or even 1,000 times more. I will always remember your kindness and your father's kindness. I will love you and treat you well for the rest of my life. Wife, I love you. I love you. It was true that he said he loved me when he got the money. Now that he has a successful career and someone else outside, it's also true that he says he doesn't love me. My parents realized that Harry was determined to divorce me and stopped persuading me. They just told me to get divorced as soon as possible, start a new life, and not waste any more time on meaningless things. I said, I want him to leave the marriage with nothing. My parents thought I was obsessed, because it was simply impossible. Moreover, with Harry's financial resources now, he has enough time and ability to fight a lawsuit with me. I also found a lawyer, Gary, who used to be Harry's best friend. Since the incident at my birthday party, the two of them have had a falling out. I repeated the same sentence. I want him to leave the marriage with nothing. I thought Gary would laugh at me like everyone else. Stop dreaming. That's impossible. Then Gary said, okay, let him leave the marriage with nothing. At that moment, I smiled. As I smiled, tears welled up. I said, the road in front of your law firm is under construction, and some sand got into my eyes. Gary handed me a tissue. Why is that damned sand piled up in front of my door? I'll ask someone to shovel it away. Then someone really came with an excavator and shoveled the sand away. At that moment, I cried even louder. The excavator driver didn't know what he had done to offend me. With a rumbling sound, he drove the excavator even faster and left. Seeing the excavator running so fast, I laughed again. The way I was crying and laughing was really ridiculous. But Gary suddenly hugged me tightly and held me in his arms. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I listened to the sound of his heartbeat pounding in my chest, and somehow I calmed down. Gary and I were actually childhood sweethearts and grew up in the same alley. Gary was raised by his grandparents since he was a child. His parents were abroad. Later, in high school, Gary was also taken abroad. He just returned to the country in the past 2 years, because there were business dealings between his work and Harry's company. The two of them became good friends. One day I received a friend request from a stranger. Looking at the profile picture, I had a hunch in my heart. I accepted the request. Then the other party sent a series of photos. Photos of her playing with Harry. Photos of her secretly kissing Harry when he was sleeping on the sofa. There were also photos of the two of them sleeping in each other's arms in bed. There were even some X-rated videos of them. Sister, your husband doesn't love you anymore. Can you divorce him with dignity? Harry has always protected me carefully, just afraid that you would hurt me. But I know you're a kind person. When your husband cheats, you'll only blame your husband and not me. After all, if it wasn't me, there would be someone else. Right. You know I live opposite your community, but you haven't come to cause trouble for me. I know you're a good person. Sister, let go and fulfill me and the father of my child. I really love him, and he loves me too. I'll ask Jin Cheng to give you more money. Get a divorce. And you're still young. You can find another man who loves you. She said a lot, and I didn't read the rest completely. She sent me all the key evidence of Harry's infidelity. These evidences were taken by herself, not by me secretly, so there was nothing more legal. I forwarded them to Gary. Gary laughed his head off. Why did she send such important evidence to us? We're one step closer to making that scumbag leave the marriage with nothing. It's worth celebrating. Come out for a late-night snack. Coming. Her name is Angelina. She's still a student at University A, currently in her junior year. Her family is poor. By chance, she received sponsorship from Harry and became Harry's sponsored student. Gary sent me all of Angelina's information, including the contact information of the school and the contact information of Angelina's counselor. Gary was eating skewers and casually said, "You send the chat records she gave you to the school, and they will deal with it. She said you're a kind person and won't mess with her." Of course, I also think you're kind and won't make things difficult for her. After saying that, Gary reminded me again, but her being a mistress is a matter of her personal life and moral issue. The school generally won't expel her. At most, it will mainly be criticism and education. I immediately exposed all of Angelina's affairs to her school. Just as Gary said, the school criticized and educated Angelina and didn't give any other punishments. Only the school teachers and her counselor knew that she was a mistress. A few days later, a banner appeared at the school gate. Angelina from the School of Finance, a junior student, is deeply in love with my husband and is pregnant with an illegitimate child. As the legal wife, I'm here to propose taking her as a concubine. There were also people beating gongs and drums at the gate, instantly attracting the attention of the school teachers and students. Now Angelina became famous overnight and even made it to the local news headlines for being a mistress. But I didn't do it. Angelina didn't believe it. Nor did Harry. When Harry came to my house wanting to teach me a lesson, it was Gary who opened the door. It was raining outside, and he got soaked. So he took a shower at my place. It was really just a shower. But Harry exploded and forgot the purpose of his visit. He threw a punch. This time, Gary didn't tolerate him. He dodged, grabbed his fist, and easily pushed him away. "Gary, what do you mean? Why are you alone in my house?" I said. "We're going through a divorce. This house is in my name alone, and it's not your home anymore." "Fine, I'll ask again. Why is he in your house?" Harry questioned me word by word. "Elsa, we're still not divorced." "Yes, we're still not divorced, but it didn't stop you from finding a mistress. Why is it not okay for me?" "What do you mean? What do you two mean?" "Gary, we're brothers, and you're cuckolding me." Gary also played along with my words. "It's a case of only the state officials are allowed to set fires while the common people are not allowed to light lamps. What kind of world is this? You cheat on your wife and still expect her to be faithful to you. It's so ridiculous. You're suffering from terminal male chauvinism." Harry couldn't hold it in anymore. "You did it on purpose. You've been eyeing Elsa for a long time. At the birthday party, you deliberately revealed my affairs. You're not my brother at all. You've been planning this for a long time." "What planning?" "Elsa and I grew up together as childhood sweethearts. When we were running around naked, you didn't even know which poor countryside you were sleeping in a pigsty." Harry was furious and insisted on fighting Gary, but he couldn't beat him. He was so angry that he smashed everything in the house. He forgot that he came today to support Angelina, to get an explanation for her, and to question me. Was he too angry to remember, or what? It was only the next night when he calmed down that he came to me again. He went to the refrigerator and took a bottle of wine himself, and gulped down the whole bottle. "Elsa, I know you're angry with me and deliberately staying with Gary, but that's okay. Why did you hurt Angelina? She's innocent. I'm the one who fell in love with her uncontrollably. You're such a kind person. Why have you become like this? You're someone I don't even recognize anymore." He was actually more confident than before. He thought I had also cheated, so his guilty conscience was completely gone. "Right. Angelina's great future has been ruined by you. Her affairs have spread throughout the city, and now she's been expelled from school. She's crying herself into a faint every day with my child in her womb. Divorce me, and I want to marry her openly and give her a proper status." What a sincere affection. What an unshakable love. I said, "Sure, if you leave the marriage with nothing, I'll get a divorce immediately." Harry was stunned. He couldn't understand why I was still so confident even though I had also cheated. "Elsa, you've also cheated. You want me to leave the marriage with nothing? You're crazy. What evidence do you have to prove that I cheated? Just because Gary took a shower at my house, you think I cheated? Did you see me sleeping with him with your own eyes?" Harry's face froze, and there was even a hint of a happy smile. "So there's really nothing. I'm right. You deliberately used Gary to make me angry." "Right, Elsa. I knew you're not that kind of person. You have principles. You won't fall in love with someone else so easily either." "Yes. You also know that we're not the same kind of people. I didn't sleep well all night. I thought you were really with Gary. I don't know what's wrong with me. When I saw you with Gary, I felt so uncomfortable. Actually, it's not that I don't love you anymore. This guy is like a master of Sichuan opera face changing. There was the sound of the toilet flushing in the bathroom at home. And then the bathroom door opened. Gary came out of it. Harry, you've been in there all this time. Gary shrugged. Otherwise. Harry shouted at me. Elsa, you still said there's nothing between you two. You've really disappointed me. Harry slammed the door and left. Gary said, sorry about that. I passed by today and my stomach hurt so much that I couldn't hold it in. Did your husband misunderstand something? It doesn't matter. Gary gave me another piece of news. Harry's company is in the Series C financing. Among them, Camille, the largest financier, organized a charity dinner and invited Mr. and Mrs. Harry to attend. Harry didn't tell me. He was going to take Angelina to the dinner. Gary also gave me an invitation card for the dinner. As long as you tell Camille that you're Harry's wife, Camille will reconsider the investment in Harry's company. Gary also sent me Camille's information. Camille is a venture capitalist. She was betrayed by her husband in her early years and struggled on her own to reach her current position. What she hates the most is men who don't know what loyalty is. Gary also said, if you do this, it will be very difficult for Harry's company to go public. Camille has a high status in the industry. If she doesn't invest, no one dares to invest. Gary added, I know you're a kind person and want to part on good terms, and you won't have a bitter fight with your ex-husband. It won't do you any good either. After all, the prerequisite for him to leave the marriage with nothing is that he has a large sum of money to give you. Right. I've already figured out Gary's routine. He's deliberately provoking me. If Gary hadn't told me this information, I wouldn't have known about this charity dinner at all, nor would I have been able to get the invitation card. I really rarely participated in Harry's outside activities because he said that since I didn't like such occasions anyway, there was no need to make myself uncomfortable by going. I was actually grateful to him for being considerate of me before, but I didn't expect that he actually didn't want me to appear at all. So almost no one in Harry's circle has seen what I look like. I went to a temple and sat in meditation for a long time. I'm indeed a kind person. I feel guilty when I do something bad. In fact, being too kind is really not a good thing. It's better to be a bit shameless when dealing with people. I went to the charity dinner. Harry was holding Angelina on his arm and introducing her to others. This is my wife, Angelina. Yes, she's pregnant, and her morning sickness is very severe. I'm so worried every day that I can't sleep. It's really hard for a woman to be pregnant. Obviously, most people in this circle know Angelina. Harry said they've been together for 2 years, which means Angelina has attended these occasions for the past 2 years. Angelina leaned against Harry's arms. I'm not as hardworking as my husband who makes money. I've used up all my luck in this life to marry a man like Jin Cheng. The loving and harmonious appearance of the two of them was obvious to everyone. Camille looked at the two of them and nodded with a smile. Mr. Harry, a man who treats his wife well will get rich. Your company will definitely thrive in the future. Harry was very happy. Before he could speak, he saw me. Then his whole face turned pale. It wasn't the first time I met Angelina. I remembered that Angelina came to my house 2 years ago and brought a basket of eggs, saying they were free-range eggs from the countryside. I saw that she was still using an old-fashioned mobile phone, so I specially gave her the latest model. Angelina almost stumbled and couldn't stand steadily. She leaned against Harry's arms. She must be afraid of me now. After all, she thought I was the one who put up the banner at the school. Actually, it wasn't me. I guessed it was Gary who did it. Harry took big steps forward and wanted to pull me out. I shook off his hand. Elsa, are you trying to ruin me by causing trouble at this time? You're a successful career woman. Why do you have to act like a shrew over such a small matter in your marriage? If you ruin me, you won't get much money even if you divorce. It's as if I could get a lot of money if I didn't ruin him. Harry, stop always talking about money. It's so vulgar. There's a saying, don't strive for steamed buns, but for one's pride. Seeing me walking towards Camille, Harry growled in a low voice. I'll leave the marriage with nothing. I'll do as you ask. I'll give you all the money the company has earned over the years. Don't ruin my company. It's my hard work. Camille saw me and Harry pulling and tugging, and her eyes were fixed on her direction. She came up suspiciously and asked me, is this lady looking for me? As she spoke, she looked at Harry's hand that was pulling me. Harry quickly pulled his hand away. I said, yes, Ms. Camille, I've long admired your reputation and would like to take a photo with you. Is that okay? Harry quickly said. Ms. Camille. This is my college classmate. I was just stopping her. I was afraid she would disturb you. Such a small thing can't be called a disturbance. After I took a photo with Camille, I left. When I reached the door, I saw Harry looking at me with a lingering fear, and Angelina had been hiding behind him, not being able to show her face. I successfully got divorced. Harry gave me all his assets, except for his company. In his eyes, as long as he could keep his company, the money he gave me could be earned back. When I went to the opposite community to take over the house, Angelina obviously didn't know that this house was also given to me. This is the house Harry bought for me. What right do you have to take it away? She shrieked and questioned me. You've already caused me to be expelled from school. What else do you want? You were expelled from school because of your own actions. It has nothing to do with me. This house was bought with the marital property by my ex-husband. Now that he leaves the marriage with nothing, do you think I have the right to take this house? Angelina refused to leave. I called the property management to deal with it. She made a big scene, and many neighbors in the community came to watch. As a result, everyone knew that she was a mistress. The neighbors pointed at her and said, I said why a young girl could live in such a nice house, drive a luxury car every day, and carry an expensive bag. I thought she married a good husband, but it turns out she's a mistress. What bad luck, living under the same roof as a mistress. The legal wife is here to take over the house, and she still asks what right the wife has to take it. It's so funny. Oh, look, her belly is so big. The legal wife should just drag her along and let her give birth to an illegitimate child. Angelina had been living a glorious life for so long, except for being laughed at by her classmates at school. She was always envied by others when she went out. She had never been laughed at so blatantly by her neighbors. She couldn't hold it in anymore and sat on the ground crying loudly. What do you mean by a mistress? The one who isn't loved is called a mistress. I'm loved by her husband. How can I be a mistress? What a confident statement from a mistress. Harry came and quickly picked up Angelina. He glared at me. Why do you have to bully people like this just to take over a house? I'm so glad I divorced you. You shrew. You're so strange to me now. Angelina was very proud to be protected by Harry. She hugged his waist and leaned against his arms. Husband, you'll buy me a better house in the future. I don't want this house at all. Okay, baby, you've been wronged. Before I could say anything, an aunt in the neighborhood couldn't stand it anymore. In the cold winter, she directly poured a basin of cold water out. Damn it. Aren't you two disgusting? Harry was drenched all over and was furious, threatening to call the police. I said, stop making a fuss. It's not illegal for the aunt to accidentally pour water. Even if the police come, they'll probably just ask me to compensate you $500. I'll compensate you $50,000 and transfer it to you. I will never forget the way Harry looked at me. It was as if he had been deeply humiliated. After all, it was very difficult for Harry when he first started his business, and he needed money everywhere. When he had no money, he didn't ask me for it. Every time, I took care of his pride and put my bank card in his drawer. After he used up the money, I would transfer my new salary to that card. I gave him money and also took care of his pride. I accompanied him step by step from a poor young man to the CEO of a company. But he said, let's get a divorce. I don't love you anymore. I've fallen in love with someone else. It's really ridiculous. When Harry left with Angelina in his arms, he looked back at me. I looked at him calmly, with a cold look in my eyes. But he frowned, and the expression on his face was thought-provoking. I thought that after I got divorced, Harry would immediately marry Angelina. But unexpectedly, even after the child was born, they still didn't get married. Harry was busy with the company's affairs every day, fearing that there would be any accidents and the company wouldn't be able to go public. He had to ensure the normal operation of the company and the success of the financing. And Angelina lacked a sense of security. She made more than a dozen phone calls a day, even when Harry was having a meal with a client. Angelina suspected that he was having an affair outside. Once, because Harry was on a business trip and having a meeting in a hotel and didn't answer her call, Angelina directly rushed to the hotel with the child. There were a room full of employees and clients, which made Harry lose face. He angrily rebuked Angelina in front of everyone. Can you be more sensible? I'm at work. Elsa was never as crazy as you. She has her own career and never revolves around a man. What about you? You just cry with the child. Stop crying. You've cried away all my good fortune. Angelina wasn't someone to be trifled with either. She loudly accused. Do you regret divorcing her? It's too late to regret. I've already given birth to your child. You'll never be able to break up with me in this life. I learned about these things from Harry's assistant, who also showed me the video. In the past, there weren't many people in the company, and every time I went to the company, I would bring gifts for everyone. Later, when there were more people in the company, I would send afternoon tea every time I went. The assistant said that Angelina had never given anything to everyone. Every time she came to the company, she was arrogant and even scolded a young girl who was slacking off at work in front of everyone. The young girl had a thin skin and resigned the next day. Angelina also wanted to take charge of the company's finances, saying that her major was a perfect fit. But Harry was still somewhat sensible and didn't let her manage it. He just asked her to stay at home and take care of the child. Since Angelina became Harry's partner as a mistress, she was always on guard against the female employees in the company. Whoever got too close to Harry, Angelina would threaten them. Now the female employees in the company didn't dare to say a word more to Harry. The company's financing failed. After a period of investigation, Camille decided to give up investing in Harry's company. Once Camille gave up, other financiers also stopped following the investment, not to mention going public. It was even difficult to maintain the basic operation of the company. It was the weekend, and I invited Gary to have dinner at my house. Before he entered the door, Gary smiled and asked me, "You told Camille about Harry having a mistress, right? Their company's financing failed, and it can't go public now." Before I could speak, I saw Harry coming out of the elevator. He looked at me in disbelief and almost stumbled forward to ask, "I've left the marriage with nothing. You still won't let me go. Do you hate me that much? Elsa, are you happy to ruin me?" I glanced at Gary. This green tea guy was setting me up again. Otherwise, do you think I would hope that your life gets better and better and you have more and more money? Harry left almost with his hand over his chest. It seemed that he came just to question me if I had told Camille about his infidelity, which was why Camille withdrew her investment. Elsa, whether you believe it or not, I sincerely hope that you will get better and better. I didn't expect you to treat me like this. I actually still have feelings for you. As soon as he said this, I chid and laughed again, hoping that I would get better and better. Yet having a mistress and even an illegitimate child, saying that he still had feelings for me after the divorce. Who is he trying to disgust? I gave Gary a look. Did you do this again? How could I? There were problems with Harry's company operation. Angelina is really something. She not only messed with Harry but also got involved in the company's affairs. Once Camille went to their company and saw Angelina bossing around and scolding the subordinates. Then she learned about Harry's messy business from the employees. Harry has already banned Angelina from entering the company. So now Angelina keeps an even closer eye on him. He really has no freedom now. I suddenly remembered what Harry said on my birthday, that he wanted a divorce because he wanted freedom. So, some words really shouldn't be said casually. Be careful that what you say comes true. In less than 3 years, Harry's company faced serious financial problems. Due to the failed financing before, many investors withdrew their capital. Harry borrowed a lot of money from the bank. Now he couldn't pay back the bank loans, and the capital turnover was not working well. He couldn't even pay the employees' salaries. The employees often held banners at the company gate demanding their salaries. He really had no money. He didn't earn much in these years, and he gave it all to Angelina. Angelina always threatened him with the child, saying that no matter how hard it was, they couldn't let the child suffer. As a result, he found that the child was still skinny, while Angelina had all kinds of luxury goods. She was good for nothing but spending money. When I got home, I saw Harry sitting at my door with a bottle of wine. When he saw me coming back, he staggered to his feet. Elsa. He had a scruffy beard. His clothes were wrinkled. His hair was in a mess like a chicken coop. And he smelled bad. I instinctively covered my nose and took a step back. When he saw my reaction, he was even more heartbroken. "You don't love me anymore, do you? I can tell. There's no light in your eyes when you look at me." "But Elsa, I've been thinking of you more and more these years. I can't sleep because I miss you so much. I regret it. I really regret it. Why did I make a mistake back then? Why did I leave you and choose such a slut?" I couldn't help it and rubbed salt in his wound. "What slut? That's your true love. You were so determined to give her a proper status back then. But you still haven't given it to her. Hurry up and go home to take care of your child." My disdainful tone almost broke him down completely. "We have no chance anymore. Right? With me like this now. You don't like me anymore. But when we first met, I was like this too. I haven't been able to forget you all these years, so I still haven't married Angelina. Harry, that's enough. Don't try to move yourself. You're just back to the poor state before we met. Even if your life got better and better, you wouldn't think of me for a second. Probably because I hit the nail on the head. A look of embarrassment and panic flashed across his face. Elsa, I came to you today because I actually have something to ask of you. For the sake of our many years of relationship. Please. The elevator door opened, and Gary came out carrying groceries. Oh, isn't this Mr. Harry? Harry was shocked to see Gary naturally change his slippers after opening the door and looked at me. You're really together? Gary asked him. What do you want with my girlfriend? Your company is on the verge of bankruptcy. Don't tell me you're here to borrow money. Honey, we can't lend him the money. It'll be gone for good. Before I could speak, Harry swallowed back the words he wanted to say. I'm not here to borrow money. I just came to see Elsa. I'll be relieved if she's doing well. Harry ran away in embarrassment. Gary said, he was here to borrow money. He got so much money from you after the divorce, and he's eyeing it to take it back. I know. I didn't lend it to him, and you don't think about my money either. Gary snorted. Your little bit of money. Keep it for yourself. My mom will be here soon. I'll go cook. It's the first time to meet your mom. I should go to your house. How can I let your mom come here? It's okay. She's lived abroad for a long time and doesn't have so many taboos. Just then, the doorbell rang. When I saw the tall figure at the door, I was stunned for a while. Instinctively, I blurted out, MS. Camille. Camille smiled and took my hand. Why call me MS? Camille. You're being so distant. I held you when you were a child, but you were too young to remember. Auntie, why are you here? Gary is your son. Don't you know? I thought you knew. Didn't he insist on returning to China for your sake to develop his career? Now I also think Harry was right. Gary had been planning this for a long time, and he must have deliberately gotten close to Harry. I squeezed Gary's butt hard. You're so cunning. Gary let out an ouch, but stubbornly refused to admit that he had planned it all along. I always felt that something was wrong, but I had no evidence. Harry went completely bankrupt. Before all the employees of his company left, Angelina was the first to run away. I heard that Harry held Angelina's hand and cried bitterly. I have nothing left. I only have you and our son. You won't leave me, will you? That night, Angelina took all the valuable things in the house and ran away. No one knew where she had gone. She only left behind a skinny son. As the son grew up, he became less and less like Harry. Harry came to me one more time, this time to borrow money for a paternity test. He really had nowhere else to borrow money, but he really wanted to know the truth. Gary was the first to jump out. Lend it. We must lend him the money. I gave him a blank look. I still lent him the money. Everyone fell silent, but I heard that Harry smuggled abroad to avoid debt, leaving his son with the creditors, saying that he would come back to pick up his son when he made money. As a result, the creditors took turns taking care of his son, but they didn't wait for Harry to return to pay off the debt. The creditors were also very frustrated and could only call the police. In the end, the police found Angelina and asked her to take her son away. I saw Angelina at the police station. Since Harry was my ex-husband, the police asked me if I knew where Harry was. When Angelina saw me, she grabbed her son and turned around to leave, afraid that I would talk to her. Gary said that I was a kind person and definitely wouldn't talk to her and stimulate her. I couldn't hold it in and went up to ask, who is the father of this child? Angelina's body trembled, and she almost ran away nimbly while holding her son. Harry's creditors heard this and were completely stunned. Isn't the father of that child Harry? Damn it. Harry is so stupid. His taste in women is really bad. I suddenly feel sorry for him for a second. I wanted to retort that his taste wasn't always that bad. After all, he had a good taste when he chose me. It's just that he didn't know how to cherish it. And I have also found a man who knows how to cherish me. Only by losing the wrong person can you meet the right one. I still remember when I first found out that Harry had cheated. I was in a really bad mood and felt that my whole life had fallen into a trough. But Gary told me, if things don't go as you wish, maybe fate has other plans. I think that makes sense. The end.